Well, hello folks, Jason here from Night Hair & Leather. I hope you guys are doing well today. Gonna do a little project here, gonna make a few guitar pick cases. As you can see down here, we're gonna do two different styles today, and I thought I'd just walk you through how I do my guitar pick cases. The first one here is just a double pocket guitar pick case with a snap on it. It's got two pockets there, and you can load it up with as many guitar picks as you want. And then there's this keychain one, which is pretty popular. Obviously got a key ring here that you can put onto your keychain that you carry, and you open it up and it's a single pocket guitar pick case. Before you guys, the tools I'm going to use to help accomplish this, and if you want to follow along, you certainly can. These are the tools that I'm going to use. You have your own tools and maybe your own tricks of figuring things out, but obviously we're going to need some basic tools. I've got my rotary knife here that will help cut straight lines. I've got some punches here for my stitching. Got some tools back here for putting the snaps on, scratch awl, scissors, my maul here I'll be using, some basic thread. Got black and white. Actually, I'm going to switch this out. I'm going to do some brown. And then we're going to use some corner rounders and so forth. That might be helpful. And if you don't have these corner rounders, you can use coins and things of that nature. For our two different cases today, I'm going to use two different colors of leather. The first I'm going to use is this red Pueblo leather. I'm going to use this to make the keychain, and it's about 4 ounces thick, and it's going to turn out to be really nice. I'm really looking forward to this and how this is going to turn out. So this will be the keychain one. So this brown, this is Pueblo Tobacco Brown. I'm going to use this red for the keychain, and for this one, like I said, I'm going to continue with the brown Pueblo leather. It's going to look just like this, and we'll make our way through both of those. Let me just set some of this stuff aside, and we'll get started with measurements and everything. So bear with me for just a second. Got my needles here that I'll be doing some threading with. Okay, so for this one, we're going to start off with that little guy right there. Again, this is a keychain guitar pick case, and I'm going to use my L square here to help with that. Like I said, I'm going to make that one out of the red Pueblo leather, so I'm going to bring that over, and I'll let you guys know the measurements and just scratch it out and then cut it up for us. So the measurements are pretty simple. It's just 2 pieces of leather. You have this front piece here, and then obviously the back piece here. This front piece is 1.75 inches across and 1.5 inches tall. The back is going to be 1.75 inches and 3 inches tall. Okay, so we're just going to scratch that out real quick. I'm going to use my scratch awl. So again, the first one is 1.75 inches by 1.5. So I'll just draw my little piece there. All right. And the second piece is 1.75 by 3. So 3 inches, 1.75. Simple as that. Just going to use my rotary knife to cut this piece out. There we go. Grab a straight edge, and we're just going to trim out our piece here. I find this ruler to be exceptionally helpful. It's got a nice cutting edge here with a barrier to protect your fingers from the rotary knife. On the back side, there's this nice piece of, I think it's rubber here that will hold down on the leather and not actually slip. There's the back piece. Bring over the front piece. Okay, and we're gonna do some corner rounding here just to get this taken care of while the pieces are not together. So I'm going to use, this is from Tandy Leather from Craft Tool. You can use a coin or something, maybe it's a dime, to round these edges off. So this is the bottom of the keychain down here. We're just rounding these corners. I'm going to do the same here. All right, and the top also is rounded, so I'm going to do that, but I'm going to grab a different size. This is going to be the next step up. This is the 01 Craft Tool. You can step up in a coin size if you want to create the rounded corners here. Maybe you want a quarter or something like that to do that. And we also need to create this little cutout here that's meant to help you with grabbing them, the little finger cutout there. So I'm going to grab this piece here. And we'll kind of just do a little quick measurement here, millimeter wise. So this is about 4.5, so we'll do about 2 1/4 as the center. I'm going to mark it. And then I'll punch that little part out. Simple as that. So I created that little, finger notch there. And we're gonna, while we have it out, we're gonna need to punch the hole for the punch the hole for the snap there. So I'm gonna grab my little circular hole punches, and again, we're gonna just measure real quick. You can put it down as far as you want or as high as you want, depending on your own measurements, but I'm gonna put mine right about there. That'll be the top of my hole. So I'm going to come down just a little bit from that. There we go. So now we have the little hole for the snap. And before we put it together, we need to put the snap on. And since I'm going to be using black hardware for this, I have my black snaps. These are line 20 snaps. I've got my black keychain I'll end up using as well. So I'm just going to put down the first part of the snap, and so grab some of the tools I have for that. I'm going to use the back side of this metal piece here to give some stability. Grab my 2 pieces. If you have a machine that will set snaps, go ahead and do that. I'm just using it by hand for right now. And that set that in there really well. Okay. Since we're still kind of in the production phase of this and we're not putting it together, I'm going to take care of this edge because it's easier to do that now than it is to do it when it's on the keychain itself already finished up. So we're just going to take care of this. We're going to bevel the edges here. And I'm using this is just a size 1 Palo Santo. You can use whatever size you're comfortable with. I'm going to take care of the edges. What I use to take care of my edges is Tocanole. You can certainly use gum tragacanth. You can use water. Just going to put a little bit on there. Let it sit for a second. And I will burnish it with just a little burnishing stick here. You can use canvas, a t-shirt, whatever's going to get you the effect that you want of a finished look on that. So just kind of nice little burnished edge there. And since I kind of curled up a little bit while I was burnishing it, I'm just going to take my beveler once again and just go around it and get those little pesky lips off. Make sure it's good on this side too. All right, so that takes care of that. I'm going to bring over our other piece and we're going to glue it together. I use a water-based glue. You can use different versions of glue, contact cement. You know, many people enjoy that. I just don't care for the smell, so I use a water-based glue here. I'm gonna come over and put some glue on this guy as well. And we're gonna let this sit for a second, more than a second actually, to let the glue dry up a little bit before we put it together. So I'm going to set this first piece up at the top, and I'm going to start my second piece. Again, this red that we were just doing, we're making this keychain. And then we're also going to put together a double pocket guitar pick case. I'm going to bring over some tobacco brown Pueblo leather right here. And I'm going to do the measurements for this. It's basically twice as long in a sense, and the same height. So this is going to be I think not twice as long actually. I think this is going to be 3 1/4 by 3 on the back piece. Let me grab my ruler here. So the back piece is going to be 3 inches tall by 3 1/4. So get my scratch all over here. So this is the back piece. And then the front piece is going to be 1 1/2 by 3 1/4. So 3 1/4 inches long, 1 1/2 inches tall. There we go. Wonderful. We'll use just our rotary knife to trim this out. Simple as that. I'm going to grab my straight edge and just cut this out. Just cut along the lines that you made with your scratch awl. Trim out this front side as well. Okay, so we've got our 2 pieces for the longer guitar pick case. I'm going to round off the corners here like I did with the other one. It's the front side. And here is the back side. Slice that off real quick. Okay, like we did with the keychain one, we're going to cut out a little lip here, but we're going to need to do 2 of them because, again, this is a 2-pocket case here. And so let's do just a little bit of measuring here, and we'll find our center. So this is 8.5, well, about 84 millimeters. So our center is going to be at 41. 42, let's say. Okay, and so then 21 will be our lip that we're going to make. So I'm just marking these here just to punch out something for the guitar picks themselves. And so I'm just going to line up, and fortunately these have a nice marker there to mark out and match up with your little score you did as to where you want it centered. Okay, so we've got our 2 lips here. And we're going to also burnish this edge because it's a lot easier to do now than when we actually put it together. And so I'm going to just bevel it real quick. And again, we're going to use the Tocanole. Just rub it on there with my finger. Give it a chance to set for a second. I'll use my burnishing stick again. Looks pretty good. Doesn't look like I need to bevel it again. It looks like the edges stayed up firm on this one. And so this one, we're going to get the glue on it and get it set up. We don't need to put the snap on this one first because we're going to go through the entire piece together with it because we do have 2 pockets on this one. I'll show you how that works. Again, I'm just using a water-based glue. So we're going to set these pieces just aside for a second to let them dry, and we're going to bring down our other piece. The glue has had a chance to get tacky, and we're going to merge the 2 pieces together now. Just line them up nicely. To make your pocket. And we will sand the edges a little bit to get them evened up. You can use whatever you might have. If you have a sander, you can use that. I have one, but for the sake of this video, I'm just going to use these blocks. This one's got a 240 grit. And this is just sandpaper glued to a block to make it easier to sand the pieces down. This isn't the final sanding, this is just getting the piece to be even. So that when you stitch your line in it, it'll be as straight as possible, okay? So, simple as that. Again, I'll do more sanding later. I'm going to grab my wing divider to scratch my line in it. I have it set at, is that 4 millimeters? I think it is, 4 millimeters. And I'm just going to go around and score this so I can then punch it. So, while this other piece is still drying, this one's up here drying still, I'm going to take a minute and I'm going to punch this so that we can get it ready for stitching. You can use whatever set of irons you have, pricking irons. I'm going to use these. These are from Crimson Hide. These are 4 millimeters. And this prong, or this has 5 prongs here to make it simple. And I'm just going to use that scoring line as my guide. I'm going to go on the inside of that. You do whatever you enjoy doing. If you want to go on the line or on the outside of the line. I switched over to a 2-prong to go around the corners. And I'm just following that scoring I did with my wing divider. Switch back to my 5-prong. Okay, so we got that one punched out, as you can see, and we'll stitch that in just a little bit. I'm going to bring this tobacco brown 2-pocket one over, and the glue's had a chance to set up for a second. And I'm going to put these two together as well. Do my best to match it up as best as possible. You can kind of see it's taking shape. And I will do the same with this. I will sand this just to get the edges evened up. And I will sand it better later on in the project. Looks pretty good. As we did with the last one, we will grab our wing divider and create our stitch line along the outside. There we go. This one, though, is a little bit different. We've got to add a stitch line in the center to create the 2 different pockets. And so, again, I'm going to just measure it out. Should be 84. And I'm going to come down to 42 right here. I'm just going to mark it, do a little puncture there as I did before. And I'm going to do another one to create a line for myself to follow. And then I'm going to do another one a bit further down. Okay. And if you wanted to, you could score this as well, or scratch this, I should say. Just connect those lines. There we go. So now you have a line to follow to punch. I'm going to grab my punch pad over again. Grab my pricking irons. And I'm just going to go on the inside of that line. Switch over to my 2 to go around the corner. And then I'm going to switch to a bigger one that has, I think this has 8, maybe 9 prongs. It's all the same size, 4 millimeters. Just gets it done faster. And then we'll come back to the 2 to go around the corner. Go back to the 5. There we go. And then let's do the center part there. See if I can pick up the line I drew. So I'm just going to come down from the edge just a little bit up here, down just a little bit. Follow that line that I made. And now the center is punched. So now we have our 2 keychains, well, the keychain and then the pocket holder here for the guitar picks set to be stitched. I'm going to do this red one in black because I'm using black hardware, and I thought the black stitching would be a nice contrast. So I'm going to get some thread. I've got some black. This is number 5 Vinimo thread, and I like using this. You can use whatever thread you're comfortable with. Thought I pulled out some needles, but I don't see them right away, so I'm just going to grab a few more. Got a little stash here. Going to thread my needles with the black thread for this red guitar pick case. That didn't work, so let's start over. That happens. There's plenty of videos out there about how to do stitching and saddle stitching and other types of stitching, so you can follow those videos. I think this black thread is going to look really good on this. I'm going to end up stitching this off camera, and I'll show you what it looks like when it's done. So I'll be back in just a few minutes. Okay, we're back. So I got this stitched up. You can see I've done it with black thread. Turn it over. I'm just going to clip off the excess thread. And then I'm going to singe those. I'm just going to use my thread zapper. Let me turn it over correctly. My thread zapper. You can use one of these. You could use a lighter. There we go. Smash it down with my fingers. There we go. So this one's all stitched up. Now we'll turn our attention over to this Tobacco Pueblo double pocket guitar pick case, and we'll get this guy stitched up. Okay, we're back. We've stitched up our brown guitar pick case, and you notice I did add the stitch line here in the center. I'm going to simply just snip off the excess thread, and I'm going to burn it down to the bottom. Here we go. So both of our guitar pick cases have been stitched up. Now we need to finish putting the hardware on. I'm going to bring over some of the stuff we're going to use. So I've got the snaps for this guy here and finish off the snap for this guy there. And so let's start off with just our red one, and I'm going to do a brief measurement as we did before. I measured it across. It looks like it's about 46. So I'm going to just do, and I'll leave all this stuff up once I sand it down and so forth. So I'm going to put my snap at 23. So I'm going to bring my punch pad back over and going to punch a circle there for the snap. There we go. I'm going to put this together now. Bring my setter back over, my snap setter. I'm going to use, again, this black button there. Put it down in the circle that protects the shape. Bring the setter over. Get that pressed down in there, and that should snap over just like that. Perfect. And I'm going to start working a little bit on the brown, the tobacco brown here. And I'm going to trim off the sides up here and the top just to get it with a bit of a shape to it. So as I've said before, this is roughly 3 1/4 inches. So I'm going to create a little tab here at 1 inch in from each side. Just going to create a little mark there. And then I'm going to come down 1 inch. I'm going to use that as a guide to trim things up a little bit. So I'm going to bring my straight edge over, match up my 2 points, use my rotary knife to cut out that little piece there. Do it on both sides. This just creates a bit more of an attractive look at the top of it, and you can even, if you wanted to, you can round off those edges just a little bit there, just to take away the harshness of the angle. Okay, we're going to punch the holes for the snaps in this as well. The way I usually measure this is I usually go down 3 of my stitches. That's where I'm going to put my snap. Make sure I go all the way through. There we go. And then up here, again, I'm going to center this. You can certainly measure. And this is at an 84. So I'm going to come up 42. Right there. Punch my hole. There we go. And for the tobacco brown, I'm going to use an antique bronze colored snap. Again, this is the line 20, I believe it is. You can use whatever size snap you want that will fit the leather you're using. So I'm going to put this on. Oops. Grab the right piece. There we go. Get my setter here. There we go. Turn it over. Put this bottom piece through the hole we made and use the back side of that setter piece to create a nice flat steel surface. And that should snap closed just like that. Okay. So this one is technically finished except for doing the edges. This one we still have to put the grommet there for the key ring, I should say. Hold on, we'll get some of the other things we need for that. Be right back. we're back. Got a couple things here, a couple of punches, grommet and so forth. So what I'm going to do is with the punching, you can buy these sets anywhere. I'm going to punch a hole, as you can see, right down here by the thread to put the grommet in. There we go. So it come all the way through. Spin that out. Put the grommet in. Put the back piece on. You use this other tool that comes with it. This is somewhat of a setter, if you will. Okay, so that's now set in there. Before we put the key ring on, I'm going to just take care of these edges again real quick, get them all finished up. A little hard to do when you have a key ring on there. So I'm just going to start sanding it again on my sanding block. I'm going to use 3 different grits. So this again is 240. As we'll do the other one since we're going to take care of both of these eventually. So start with the most rugged of the sandpaper. So this is 240 that I'm using. Going to move over to an 800. Again, this is just sandpaper that's glued onto wood. Makes it a little bit easier for me to sand. Grab the red one. Just going all the way around. And then lastly, I'll finish off with a 3000 grit. This is going to make it really smooth. You can sand it for as long as you'd like to get those edges exactly the way you'd like. You can use grits that you are comfortable with. Take my edge beveler, go all the way around it, just to get that leather that's curled up. Give it a nice rounded edge. Flip it over, do the same. Bring the red one over. Okay, now we'll get our tocanoli. Just going to rub it all the way around. Get that edge creamed up. And we'll use our burnishing stick. And you can burnish these edges up as many times as you want. Try to avoid getting them super soft because that makes it hard to actually get them to look nice. I'm only going to do it one time just for the sake of the video. Usually I do it a couple times. But you do it whatever you're comfortable with. And again, with whatever element you're comfortable with. If you're comfortable with water or gum tragacanth is popular, go ahead. Again, you can use these burnishing sticks or You know, I have a bigger burnishing stick here. If you have one of these bigger sized ones, it looks just like that. It's a popular one. Or you can even grab just a small piece of canvas and use canvas to burnish your edges, whatever you're comfortable with. All right, so this guy is finished, and so we can easily slip a few of the guitar picks in here. There we go. That guy is done. This one, we just have one last thing we want to do. And we want to put this key ring on there, which is never my favorite thing to do. It takes a little bit of time and a little bit of prying. So I get a couple of extra tools. This is, again, a scratch-all that you can pick up with any leather company or Amazon. This is an older awl that I got from my grandfather that he used for many years in contracting. So I'm going to use both of these to pry this open. Again, this isn't my favorite part of making these, and you might have a better way of doing this, and if you do, feel free to leave a comment below. I'm just trying to get this open in a sense. So I use, again, this scratch-all to pry it open, and then I use this bigger one to open it even more so that I can get this on here without really scratching the leather too badly. I obviously want to avoid scratching it up. There we go. So I'm just going to use this scratch-all to just help give a little bit of pry to it to move the key ring onto the key pouch I've made. We're about at our end here, so hopefully we can just manipulate that on there. There we go. Fix it just a little bit, just kind of, there we go. Just take care of a little bit of those edges there. And voila, that's our Keychain guitar pick case. So we're going to put some of these guys in here. Fold that guy over, snap it down. The keychain is done. All right, so both of these are finished up. Again, these are just a fun, simple little project for you to do. If you're a new beginner, or if you are someone looking for something creative to do for yourself or to sell, you can easily make these guitar pouches, guitar pick pouches. Again, this one's a double pocket. It's got plenty of room for 6 to 8 guitar picks, and then this is a keychain that someone can always keep on them that can hold, 3 or 4 guitar pick in there. All right. Again, this is Jason from Night Hair and Leather. Check us out at nighthairandleather.com, and we'll see you next time.